amount of matic that you're gonna spend to for that smart contract. So I'll just confirm it. And then there you go. So here, yeah, the transaction has been confirmed, as you can see. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use the address because that's the only one I have anyway. So I'm gonna go to proof, and when you copy this, you can see the balance of the good deed that you just did actually. So basically for the blood donation, because it's 100 points, here you can see the total of your good deed. And when you go to here, balance off, you put the address of the owner. And here you see 1, because that's the number of the good deed you did. But so far I did only like 1 good deed, so that's why it's 1. And here is the amount I have. And as I said here, you can't see the categories of the good deed because we're gonna see it on the interface. On the interface, you're gonna see like every good deed with the address that you did the good deed. So this section, and then you're gonna see like the categories and then the points for the categories. So what I'm gonna do here, for example, I'm gonna try another one. So let's say we're gonna say change it, put charity donation, and here let's say an example that you give money to a charity, and let's say for example we gives you 150 points. So what I'm gonna do is click here, confirm the transaction. There you go. And if you go to balance of here, you call the function. So let me just recopy the address. Oh yeah, I had to wait for the transaction to be confirmed. So now it's confirmed. If you call it now, you have 2 because that's the number of good deed you did. And if you call the function here, 250, because here you have like the total balance of the good deed you did before on points. So yeah, so far that's pretty much what I have for the smart contracts.
Hey, Boris, this is looking good. There is at least one other field that we're going to need in these tokens, and that's the actual validator, like which is going to be the social impact organization. So, we would need, aside from the do-gooder themselves, like what was the organization that validated this proof of good? So, for example, in the case of like a blood donation, we would want to have the SIO as like the Red Cross as the validator. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So basically, okay.
Yeah, Jeremy, this is one of those things that we talked about, like not necessarily having a complete spec of all the fields, because I feel like the requirements for all the things we're trying to capture in the proof of good are a little bit distributed right now. So until we actually deploy the contract, super easy to add fields, of course, but we want to get it right at the get-go, of course. So yeah, I think that work is one. Another is this is something actually that Al brought up a long time ago, is the actual identity of the user, distributed a DID for the user itself, not just an address. So right now the mapping is from from a wallet to effectively to that list of proof of good, but ideally we have it tracked back to a unique user. And maybe a unique org, and maybe the answer to both of those is some sort of DID for for that identity, if that makes sense.
Got it. Okay. And to help capture that, at the moment, I'm referring to the spreadsheet in our game design database. Should we kind of finalize those fields on that sheet? Would that help? Or elsewhere?
That sheet right now is capturing the NFT fields. It's not really the proof of good fields, as I'm reading
No,
it.
there's a separate sheet actually. The proof of good active altruism tab, GP. It's actually right next to the field list.
Okay, that's the types of altruism. That's not the other fields though that we're talking about here, like originating org and user.
Okay, yeah, because on that sheet I have on column G, or column F and column G is the social impact org slash validator, and then I also added SIO category potentially. But
Okay.
that's kind of where I was at least temporarily holding the fields that I think we can have there. But if there's a better place, just let me know so I can spec it out there if that helps.
Got it. Okay, maybe I wasn't scrolling right far enough.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, otherwise this looks good. It's definitely, I think, captures the key there. But I did have a question where it seems like we're able to combine points into one ERC 721 token. Did I catch that correctly?
So yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I don't know if we would typically have that use case because we would have, say, like one act of good that earns the points and then it's done. I don't know if we would revisit and add more points into that existing act. I mean, it's good to have that as a option, but I'm not sure if that would be a use case.
Oh, okay. So basically, we wouldn't need like one address and to sum up every good deed you've done before.
Because I think that would happen when we're actually minting the NFTs or displaying it on a user profile, for example. Like, so say like on Leyline.gg, if you went to your profile, we would be querying against the proof of good ledger and then just aggregating the total score of good points on that profile. That's what I was imagining, and not necessarily aggregating it on the ledger itself. The ledger would just be the individual actions recorded bit by bit.
Okay. So basically, the addition of points like only in the interface, but only on the profile of the person that made the good deed, right?
I think so.
Okay.
I'm flexible there. I'm not like super. That was just kind of my initial like thinking.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and then I think what happens is, oh, go ahead, Pat.
Yeah, so actually one reason that I thought that it would make sense to have on chain was specifically being able to calculate from a smart contract and potentially do that minting logic from there, versus if it were just on the back end, we would not be able to do that in the future.
I see. Got it. Yeah, because I maybe there is the philosophical question, which is, will Leyline be the only DApp to be able to mint NFTs from the good points? Or if the ledger is public, would other dApps be able to do that too?
Yeah, that's the key bit of the question, not just mint, but also, well, the implication is that's using the good points, right? So
Right.
the idea of having the sums on chain, either in one token or spread across, either way, we need some way to deduct that. That's kind of a product design question almost.
Right.
But I feel like users should not be able to use good points infinitely on any platform.
Yeah.
That's a feeling, not a statement. It feels wrong to be able to create infinite value from it, but maybe that's an okay thing. I don't know. But we definitely want to let users use these good points wherever wherever we partner with and make that available. But yeah, I don't know. That's probably something we need to discuss before locking that down.
Right.
On the note of kind of what goes on chain, sorry, I've just been kind of listening in, but the note of what things go on chain, it would be really cool to try to get as much of the actual proof of good data on chain as possible. Are there limitations right now, like from a cost standpoint or in terms of the amount of information that you could store, do you think? Or how does that feel so far?
I don't think that count would necessarily be a cost. It would, and we do have additional metadata fields, like, for example, the media that we wanted to store on IPFS associated with the good deed, like the screenshot or
Like a receipt.
whatever other receipt, the other digital media associated. That's not captured right here, but definitely the idea is to get as much on chain as possible. Right now, the actual metadata for the proof of good off chain is quite limited, and this is sort of just a mapping of that. But yeah, we definitely want to add more.
One question on that front too would be when you have the NFT that is made from these proofs of good, would you be able to see all of the metadata of the proofs of good within it? Because I think that that lineage part is really cool for a lot of people, I would imagine.
Yeah, I would say that's definitely the goal, is that you're basically using the good points to mint the NFT or level it up, and then it actually records those specific points and those specific attestations right into that particular NFT. And then it like at its very basic, it would just be those ledger items inside the NFT, but we'd also want to visualize that in the long term. So yeah, I think that's it's a big part of people like wearing their NFT backpack across the metaverse, is that people can just very easily double click it and then see that history of good and those proofs.
Yeah, and from a blockchain perspective, it would be those NFTs would be linked to these proof of good records specifically, and the number of points used to generate that NFT from there, all rolled up, through the upgrade process. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Sounds like we need to add Polygon keys to our BID. It's standard EVM keys, right? I think it should be about the same.
Yeah.
I think so.
Boris, was that a yes that you said?
Oh yeah, I say yes.
Okay. It
Sorry.
can't.
No, I say yes.
All right. But yeah, this is it's exciting though. I mean, I can see it. It's playing out nicely. And Boris, in terms of how we would be interacting with this smart contract, it would really be through like the API layer that we build out, right? So
Yes.
whether it's coming from the web app or from Discord or from like approved partners, all the writing would be taking place through the APIs.
Yeah, that would be through the API.
Okay.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, Boris, but you haven't looked at integrating the Polygon SDK yet into the backend?
No, not yet. I was really focused on displaying like the proof of good ledger, like all the function, the inheritance. So I haven't looked at it like deeply yet, but I will do it.
Okay. Yeah, Jeremy, I think that's one key thing that we need to jump onto next sprint, because that, like we talked about, unblocks a lot of the other work that we're talking about doing with interacting with the Polygon chain. It's one thing to have the smart contracts, but it's another to actually, call into the services or participate as a node. But yeah, probably much easier to just use the SDK and call into their service.
Got it. Okay. Sounds good.
So kind of maybe a bigger picture question then. This is looking really good as like a core basis of the system that you're implementing. I'm kind of more curious now about the architecture of the network that you would need. Beyond the organizations and the people that'll be actually submitting the proofs of good, is there a need for other validator nodes, or do you need like a proof of stake kind of process to handle the staking mechanisms that you've outlined in the white paper? Or how does that side of things work? Or how do you see it working? You don't have to have all the answers, I guess.
Yeah, my thought was actually much of the validator effort is actually coming through the social impact orgs, and there's kind of this meta layer of accountability which will come from the community and the DAO. So essentially, we're going to build like incentive programs for like, will our community inspect all the different SIOs that are on the proof of good protocol, and then are they really, doing their job? Like, are they, using the money that's donated to them correctly? Are they generating impact? A whole number of different things. I think the accountability actually is going to come from people checking on these organizations. So I think the protocol is actually less technical or on chain. It's just very much this like social system that we put in place, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that certainly makes a lot of sense. And how much of that, like, how would the average person be interacting with the system then?
It's a good question. I think like the kind of the testing ground for us is really through like our Discord community. So if you like take a look at like some of our channels here, like the Good Acts channel or the Kind Words, we're experimenting with just like you're emoting to approve or decline. And I think the more we mature those programs and really have a clear job description set of responsibilities for moderators and inspectors, I think that's where this could really turn into a much more robust system of accountability. But yeah, I think we're still quite early days there, but I think this is where we want to mature the program.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So it's sort of a services economy. Is that where the token comes in, I guess?
Yeah, exactly. So the moderators and inspectors would be earning good points as well as a Leyline utility token. So it's like yet another reward system for the folks that are like really dedicated to kind of protecting the sanctity of the protocol. And then those utility tokens would be used for governance proposals and voting and staking.
Got it. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, this is helpful to understand. I can see a few ways that we can kind of plug Koi in here that would be very helpful to you guys, hopefully. Some of the stuff that we're doing with storage-based consensus could be useful for, I guess, batching these proofs of good together so you don't have to write them all into Polygon, for example. We have some support for IPFS through CoinNodes as well that lets you kind of host different metadata content and share it around. We have a couple things like creating thumbnails, for example, if you need to have like a decentralized sharing kind of solution, if you want to have a social share, that kind of thing. I would like to talk to my tech team a little bit. We've been pretty heads down this week because we did this gigantic dynamic zombie launch. And it's like 10,000 cross-chain zombies, so there's just a lot of complexity getting them all deployed. Is there anything in the short term that I could do for you guys to kind of pick up from where Dan left off, or anything that is outstanding that you need from me?
Yeah, actually, Nico, I'm curious. I wasn't working closely with Dan and the project there. Anything open?
The last conversation we had with Dan were actually around helping for defining a new user experience for someone that comes into the site. So we're just trying to define a couple of possible journeys that would make sense, just to really explain to a new user coming into the site how things work and getting him to earn his first few points up until the point that he could just get an NFT and then get it to trade. But that was really just an exploration of what we could do, and we're just Dan was saying he could help us with defining this journey and what it would and spec it out and potentially provide some wireframe and how it could look like. But this was really just the first step, so that first the user can understand how you onboard with Leyline. And then at a later point, that would have been to kind of, connect wallets and potentially integrate Fini wallets. But we didn't really start anything as such apart from those discussions.
Okay, cool. If you want some feedback on the onboarding process, I'm happy to help out there. We have Kayla as my head of product, and actually used to run kind of product and UX for me at XYZ. So she could probably hop in and she'd be happy to try and help out a little bit. There's a lot of tricky stuff with just explaining wallets to people in a concise way. If we can get Finny set up for Polygon support, we might be able to let you use some of our onboarding tools, which might make it a little bit easier. Maybe copy paste some React code, hopefully. Do you need a faucet or something like that? Like, how do you give out tokens when somebody comes to the site? Or I guess, do they need tokens to participate would be the other question.
They don't need tokens to participate yet. And right now, we don't have a faucet that enables that. A lot of us just manually granted or sent over. So that could be quite handy. Because ideally, when we're opening up the mystery boxes and people are getting a crypto drop, including Koi coins, we don't have a mechanism to instantly deliver that. So that could be pretty useful for sure.
That's interesting. So how do you do it right now? It's just an API that sends a transaction?
No, it's all manual. We collect the wallet IDs, and then our accounting team actually handles the prize distribution. So it's on our backlog to start to automate that, but we're doing it all manual.
Oh, that we could certainly help you with. We have the way that the Koi API is set up is it's designed to handle multiple keys for different cross-chain interactions. So if you have, so for right now we have Arweave and Ethereum set up. Polygons should be the same as Ethereum, so it shouldn't be a big deal. But essentially the idea being that you have one JavaScript method that's transfer NFT, and then you just call that method, and then it sends the NFT for you. And this has been something we've been building out for a while, but we like to try to find examples where we can bug test it, because if we can get you guys to try it and then we can build out the functionality together, it's an open source project, so you're welcome to continue contributing to it or keep using it as much as you want to. And we can also help you get set up initially. So that could be a really good place to look as well. A lot of that stuff is is it on Clayton right now, I think?
Yeah, we're on Clayton right now, and then we're shifting to Polygon, but that it's a little bit separate from the crypto prize drops that we do with the mystery box. So this one would be more like you open up the mystery box, and aside from getting a couple of NFTs, you're also getting this $5 gift card of crypto, and that's where we do that direct transfer. When ideally you open up the mystery box and then you get the $5 gift card in Koi or Clayton or Ethereum, and you just hook up your wallet to the site, and then we just deliver the coin straight to that wallet. That would be kind of the ideal user flow, if that makes sense.
Yeah, of course, definitely. Yeah. That's pretty straightforward to set up. For the most part, we can probably give you some sample scripts and things like that for that. What kind of tokens would they be though that are getting delivered? So it's the gift cards, and then there's also NFTs and kind of other swag and Leyline points. The Leyline points, I would imagine, is easy for you guys because that's in your database. But what kind of other stuff?
Yeah. Well, ideally, it's basically we'd want a generic card that could be whatever sponsor item is brought into the ecosystem. So it could be any random or any crypto, which is Koi or ECTA or Ethereum, or it could be a gift, a key code for an Apple gift card or something like that, or a free game on Steam. So we're trying to make that as generic as possible, and then triggers the additional user flows depending on if it's crypto and you have to connect your wallet.
Okay, got it. So once we get the Finny wallet connected, then the ETH and Koi stuff is really easy for us, at least, because we can get the addresses that way. The getting an ETH address is actually pretty simple as well. I'm sure that you guys have already mostly figured that out. But sending it out from the back end is actually something that we've spent a lot of time doing in a fairly robust fashion. It mostly comes down to storing your keys in a relatively safe way, so that they're not exposed or that they can't get downloaded by somebody who's attacking the server. So we can probably help you out there. In fact, what we might be able to do is just give you one of our Docker containers that we're using for that. I can see if we have that one containerized, and then you can just run the same server, which would be probably pretty easy.
Nice. Okay. Super cool. Thanks, Al.
Yeah, for sure. I should probably hop off because I have to go and make sure that this 10K drop that we're doing actually goes over.
Absolutely. No, really appreciate you popping in, Al. But yeah, send us over what you got. Oh, go ahead, Pat.
Yeah, actually, one quick thing out, and really appreciate your feedback and input. Would you guys be willing to take a look at the smart contracts as we have them, and have your tech team take a look and see what that would look like? For example, the bundling protocol. We're pretty limited on resources, so if you could say generally how these tokens would fit within that, would that make sense, or would you propose some other way for your tech team to help there?
Yeah, there's a couple ways to do it. Usually what we do is we use mostly off-chain stuff, and then we bundle it on-chain as a single transaction that gets written by one node. So like you get a coin node to kind of gather things on either a Redis cache or an IPFS kind of pinning system. So the node just kind of sits there collecting all this information for a while, and then it writes it all at once onto the blockchain. So that's what we've been trying to figure out how to do. It probably would be applicable here for the proofs of good, because then you wouldn't have to write them all as separate entries, which would probably save you a lot of gas fees. I'd be happy to take a look at this too. If you want to just DM me right now the link to your remix fix, I can just hop in and take a look through and maybe send it to a Val who's a little bit more up to speed on Solidity.
Okay, that'd be great. Boris, actually, could you do that?
Yeah, sure. Give the link to the remix.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, I will definitely do that.
Great. Thank you. We'll take any.
Yeah, for sure. And if once we have a chat open, I can create a group chat and we can add a few more people in and start talking. Thanks very much for your time, folks.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sorry if my questions are a little confusing. I was up till like 3 o'clock in the morning giving a commencement thing for an Indian hackathon. So I guess that's what we do now. Thank you again for explaining everything, and looks really great. Great work.
Thank you very much.
All right, catch you later, man. Thank you. All right, what else we got in the queue, Nico?
Actually, I just had a question back to what we were saying, if you don't mind, before, related to what Boris was showing and the validation we need to do each time with the MetaMask. It was just making me think like whether each of the partners we're going to work with, or whether it's NGOs or anything we enter manually or coming through Discord. Does it mean that for each individual, each of those will need this wallet address, and each time a validation on the MetaMask, each time that you write off something on the proof of good, or how is it going to work? I mean, this is just really a sample example that we heard today, but that was just making me ask this question, how it's going to work.
Oh yeah, you know what? This is interesting because not everybody will have a wallet ID yet. They are actually going to be, I mean, this might be coming from the custodied wallet associated with the user. Because, like, for example, say someone like signs up on Leyline, they've not set up a wallet, they're just going on like Discord and then, posting photos or emoting. There is no wallet ID. So
that was just making me think whether, in this case, Leyline would be still able to write on the ledger on the behalf of someone, but then you feature the validator or the organization. I don't know. It's just
Yeah. So my basic assumption is that to do anything in the Leyline ecosystem, you need a wallet, whether that's custodial or your own. Like we're going to need that definitely if we write to the blockchain. But I think it brings up the question of actually having an identifier for users that's not necessarily a wallet. And if we really want to try to make a push to have a DID also be sort of a required part of this, I think honestly the answer is yes, because we're going to need a way to identify users, with our partners, right? So random person signs up with one of our partner orgs. How do we know who they are? How do we know where to associate their good deeds and their funds with? It's pretty fundamental, actually.
Completely agreed. Yeah, I think there's no other way around it. So yeah, it makes perfect sense to me. And a DID would have multiple. It's like a one-to-many relationship to other wallet IDs, because it might be a MetaMask, it might be a Finny wallet, it might be a Kaikus wallet, which are kind of like mapped to the Leyline accounts. And then it could even expand beyond that, where that DID could be attached to other protocols, like proof of humanity, for example, is like another interesting protocol that's starting to emerge. So yeah, I'm totally on the same page, Pat. I think it's an excellent call.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's just something we really need to dig into before we really talk about onboarding more partners and probably retrofit existing partners. And it definitely affects how we're, doing smart contracts and what we're putting on chain.
Right.
To make sure that that the proofs of good are and the NFTs. Well, so NFTs are actually a little simpler because they're owned by a wallet, and that's a little easier. It's the proofs of good really, and how that links back to the original do-gooder is that question.
Right. Okay, cool. So actually, I think probably our best use case to like begin writing to the ledger is probably going to be Angel Protocol. I think because like they've already got a fairly robust system. It's already tied to donations. And we basically open up like the API calls to them. We can probably set up a quick discussion with their tech team to kind of explain, here's like our data structure and taxonomy, and then talk through the DID concept and see how it lines up with what they're doing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that'd be a great next step. I personally haven't done a huge amount of research other than I read the spec, and it's absolutely freaking gigantic. No, I literally fell asleep reading it. So it's more like the real world use cases and how people are actually implementing and using it. It's, I think, more important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, cool.
And like any standard, like what the adoption is.
For the Angel Protocol, you mean?
Not Angel Protocol, specifically the DID, and if that's
DID.
something, that people are buying into as as the standard for interoperable identity, at least in the spaces we're looking at.
Okay. All right. Noted. All right. This is gonna be an interesting one.
And Peter, I'll send you like the link of for the smart contract, but I don't have the hangout of Al. If you can send it to me, or if you can send him the link.
Oh yeah, actually, you know what? Let me add you guys to the Telegram group chat, because I think they have their core team on that as well. And then let's share the info there. Because the problem with Discord is that it's like limited when the size of group chats.
Yeah, exactly.
So let me add you guys there. Boris, could you DM me your Telegram account? I'm not sure if I have it.
Yeah, sure. I'm doing that right now.
Okay, cool.
All right. Yeah, I think we can move on to the rest of stuff that we have to show. There is not so much, but it's just more things on the web website. So we had actually the rebrand of Leyline points to good points, and then a few updates in the marketplace. And I think we could potentially mention a few other things that we discussed briefly last week that have not been released yet, but they're all in the pipeline to be released. But yeah, Jonathan, I'm not sure if you gonna show that locally or anywhere else.
Yep, I'm showing my screen of what's on dev right now. Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
Yep, coming through.
Yeah, so
Yes.
some of this stuff we already demoed last week, but you weren't here, Jeremy, to see it, so we're gonna show it again. It was on Nate's local server that he was displaying it, but now it's on dev. We'll probably merge it into staging later today, and then once it's tested, get it moved to production. So for the home page, now everything is, all the text and images are driven from the CMS on Prismic. So everything, like this is editable, the image you can change here. Mika also added several animations. So you can see the scrolling animation of the images changing over here. This rotating Leyline logo.
Ooh la la, nice.
Yeah, this is
You're a
just
cat.
somebody added this. This is like as a joke, but you can remove this from Prismic and it'll go away. Yep. So all this text, all the images on Prismic, the rotating animation of the connect that Mika added. So.
Oh, nice, man. Very nice.
And continue going down, you get to the slide show thing. I don't know what to call it.
Yeah, the slider.
The slider.
Yeah, if that makes sense.
Vertical marquee.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, there you go.
So roadmap, all these part of the. You can adjust these on Prismic. There's a switch for progress to have it been completed or in progress or not yet started, I guess. To the bottom. Yeah, so that's the homepage stuff. Think also adjusted the profile inventory to add rarity colors to the items. So the inventory looks a little bit different, but pretty much the same with the added colors for rarity.
All right, cool. Very nice.
This is dev, so I don't really have all these items. I just rolled the mystery box while testing a lot. And what else? Things that and stuff in the background, the leaderboard jobs have been merged too, so we can give that a test run when it gets onto production, see if it fixes everything. And that's pretty much it from the web app side.
There is also
good points.
all the good points.
It's all GP now. Everything is listed. So go to balance history. Everything's GP. Good points, balance. So yeah, everything that stated Leyline points and LLP is now changed to GP and good points.
All right. Should we actually start making all the updates on Discord as well and in our help docs?
Yeah, we have to coordinate with Elijah because he's pretty much has it done on Discord. Just I think he has to merge it and then I'll ping him after this call and see.
I think it's planning to release on 31st, you were saying, because this is his next Discord update, so I think we would be probably align with that if we are able to release the prods over the weekend or on Monday.
Okay, sounds good. Cool. Nice, man. Coming together. Like the updates.
And oh yeah, there was one thing as well that maybe you can quickly show around the donate page update. We didn't release that as well, but yeah.
Oh right, okay.
That was from the week before, but we just changed it to the uploads link as well, so that looks a bit cleaner.
So now this is here.
And we've updated with the form as well that was not used for quite some time, so yeah, it's just a small one, but people can at least do now cash donation.
Okay. All right, fantastic. Nice, nice job, guys.
Yep. Good job, everyone.
Yeah.
Well done. Well done.
Good job, Mika. Good job, Nate.
Absolutely. Time to drink in 10 minutes. But quick question though. I think we haven't pushed release notes in a while now. I think we
I mean, we intended to merge this earlier this week, but we had like a bug where we couldn't actually build on dev, but that's been fixed since Kareem got back yesterday.
All right. Roger that. But yeah, I think so. Given that, month of November is going to be super interesting and intense for us because we're basically building up for the pre-sales for the 10K avatar launch or for the Bags of Hope. So when we get into sprint planning next week, a lot of it is going to be kind of centered around what's the overall like marketing strategy, hype campaign, and then what are the kind of key updates we need to make on the site to just make sure that user experience to make those pre-sale purchases actually like make sense. And that's going to include things like, you know, wallet integration, ability to mint, or like, you know, make the purchase, and linking out to OpenSea for secondary marketplace sales. So I think that's going to be a big focus for us to kind of flesh out and get on the same page starting next week. And then November is going to be pretty intense leading up to the 30th. So I think there's also this balance between how do we can keep the momentum going on a proof of good ledger with the partners, as well as getting the NFTs like in a state that we can do the pre-sales. So anyway, it was awesome to see the progress here. Thank you so much, guys. I'm super excited about like the momentum we're building up, and thank you very much. Well done.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well done, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Very
All
good
right,
job.
so yeah, join us in 10 minutes for happy hour if you guys want to hang out and celebrate and just shoot the shit and enjoy the week. Get ready to enjoy the weekend. See y'all on stage in a little bit. Come bring your wine or beers or coffee.
Right. See you there.
Right.